back to Real Talk with Kandi Thompson
and Garrett Gray.
So we just had an election, and that was November 4th. And so we are here. So listen, actually, I'm wearing a sweatshirt in the state of California just so you think it's warm, but it's 75 degrees here still in the middle of November. It is. It is. This morning when I was getting dressed, I was like, I'll just throw on a sweatshirt because I think it's time to be wearing them, even though
I'm missing golf today.
Oh, no.
And it's like a perfect day to go golfing.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're only here for 20 minutes. So
well, I'm too busy the rest of the day, yeah. Anyways.
Anyway, well, welcome back, you guys. So election in the state of California, we had a yes on 50, which was a kind of a crazy situation. And who knows how that's going to happen when you're trying to make areas that vote red, vote blue. We're going to see how that goes in the future. And we also we're still on a government shutdown.
Yes.
So we're on 41 days and 13 hours.
Yeah.
So we're going into the 42nd day right now. We're on the 42nd day, Garrett would like us to know. It just hasn't passed day in the clicking clock of the White House. Yeah. It says 41:13, but that 13 hours is in the 42nd day.
Right.
So 42 days that we've been in this government shutdown. And I just wanted to give a little history on government shutdown. So previously, the longest government shutdowns, the last longest one previous to this one was 35 days. And that was when Donald Trump was in office in 2018. Actually, it shows December 22nd to January 25th of 2019. So from 18 to 19. Before that, there was one with Barack Obama that was a lot, looks like 17 days. Bill Clinton had one that was a little over 20 days. There were multiple government shutdowns during Ronald Reagan's reign. Jimmy Carter had one that looks like it was about 17 days. So this is the longest government shutdown. And here's what we know. Here's the facts of the government shutdown. So they need 60 votes,
yeah,
right?
Right.
So 60 votes, and there are 53 Republicans in the Senate. Mm-hmm. So Democrats, while it's been said that the Republicans rule the Senate, they really can't. They can't pass anything without Democratic votes. And so there is the need for 8 Democratic votes. And the Democrats have currently voted down reopening the government 14 times.
Yeah.
Because they are requesting, is it $200 billion in
yeah, I don't know. I think that's pretty close to the amount. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, something around that. Now, here's what I have to say. They're fighting for $200 billion mm-hmm. for health care for illegals. Mm-hmm. I was born and raised here. I have multiple businesses. We pay taxes. We've raised our kids here. We are functioning members of society. Mm-hmm. Proud Americans, yeah. Right? I cannot get health care.
So I find that so crazy, man.
I had Covered California, and I was so excited to qualify for Covered California, mind you, because healthcare is so expensive, and we are self-employed, right?
Yeah.
So I had Covered California and was really, really grateful. What I didn't realize was we have constantly, it literally seems like every 2 to 3 months, I have a fraud thing happening on one of my cards.
Yeah.
So then they have to shut that card down, and they have to reissue the card. Well, I did not realize that card that was reissued was the one that was attached to my Covered California.
Uh-huh.
Previously...
That's always the fun game when your card gets
it's happened
delinquent.
Twice.
Yeah. It's always like, what's going to go delinquent? And I always watch it, but that's kind of rough that it's that part.
I have multiple accounts.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize that this card was linked to that. Now, in the beginning, when I first got signed up with Covered California, it was connected to another card that had a fraud, and Blue Cross reached out to me and said, hey, there was a problem with your billing. I'm like, oh, thank God they told me, because it's the card that now is no longer active.
Is it fraud from Covered California?
No, I don't know what it is. It's
kind of weird that 2 cards that you have got fraudulent purchases on or whatever has happened was also linked to your healthcare system.
Well, it just so happens that they were 2 separate cards, but they just happened to be on that. But what's so frustrating is I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
Every single month, I have to check my business card before the 1st, because that's when everything automatically comes out, to make sure that the bank hasn't put a hold on the card because they thought something seemed weird. I mean, they've literally been like, oh, you had an Apple purchase. Okay, they put a hold on it for that. I don't know that. The 1st comes along, everybody's trying to take money out. They put a hold on my account. I don't use that card, so, and everything's like being returned. So it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
So anyway, Blue Cross reached out to us initially, said, hey, there was a billing issue. We said, okay, great. So we re-updated that card. Thank God they told us, because that's the one that was part of the fraud alert.
Yeah.
So then we have the next situation is another card. Now, I don't know that this card is not going through. Every single month, I think it's going through. We haven't used the medical, so it's not like I've reached out and been told, hey, it's not working. All of a sudden, I get in the mail from Covered California, we're canceled. Our policy's canceled. And I'm like,
and it's like we've tried to reach you 3 times or 3 different occasions or something. You're like, I have
like,
never gotten anything from you.
I'm like, if you emailed, like you mailed this.
Yeah.
Couldn't you have mailed something? I mean, I've never received anything. Yeah. Apparently they do a, hey, Blue Cross has a message for you, but they don't actually tell you what the message is. However, they did when I first signed up.
Right.
So I would have no idea that there was a problem. So I reach out to them. I say, listen, I'm willing to even pay the money that hasn't come out because of the fraud account. Like I thought it was coming out. I actually thought that money was still being paid. I'm not wanting any kind of discount. I don't need it to be waived. They said, you know what, this happens. We're going to go ahead. Covered California said, we're going to reach out to Blue Cross and we're going to reinstate your insurance. And I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Because it's very hard to get insurance. Yeah. Blue Cross denied us.
Wow.
They said no. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm willing to pay anything back from a fraudulent card. I can prove when it went fraudulent.
Yeah.
When it went frozen. I had no idea. They've never reached out to me. So here I sit as a functioning member of society in California, and I cannot get insurance.
That's insane.
But the government shutdown is holding out for the illegals to get insurance. Maybe you should look at the people who live here.
Well, that's the whole point of like why we're at where we're at, is like we need to start looking interior instead of exterior, because we're falling apart at the seams on every piece of the United States, I feel like.
I know. And it's like, I realized that, I mean, I actually met with someone the other day. It was a realtor.
Yeah.
We went to tour and she came here from Ireland. And I don't know how these conversations start, but she said that she was like, I waited in line. I went through all the process. I waited in line. I became legal. Like people shouldn't just automatically be given all of this stuff. And that's from someone who's not from our country, who loves America, values being here.
Right.
And thinks that everybody should go through the proper process to get the benefits.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of the people that did the right process are even more perturbed or upset than just Americans, because like I went through this whole chutes and ladders and jumping fire hoses and stuff, and it's like
she had to wait years.
That's insane.
She had to wait years. Once she initially what she said was, she didn't want her husband to marry her to get her get in free card, or get out of jail free card, right? Yeah. Get in free, get out of jail free, same difference. Yeah. Anyway, she didn't want that. She wanted to go through the proper process that she's supposed to go to in order to become a legal citizen of the United States, and she did it. She thinks everyone should do it. It's not a difficult process. It's there for a reason. But here we've got a government shutdown where, mind you, I mean, flights are being canceled. Militaries aren't being paid, although thank you to the person or people that came together to make sure our military was paid.
The military, I mean, I've been, when I was in during the last 4 shutdowns compared to this one, right? And we always got paid. It was never a problem with holding their check. And even if we did, this is how they stated. It's like at the point in time where you didn't get paid, it's usually after it's like a certain number of days that has been, the government's been shut down, which I think we're getting close to those days. Then the military won't get paid, but then you'll get back paid at the end. That's how we were always told. And we were always just going to still continue the work just like it was a regular day, because you really didn't have a choice. So it was like, you're going to wake up and you're going to work, but we always got paid. It was more the problem if you're working in certain areas that have like government contractors that are also a pivotal role on like mission readiness and gear readiness and getting things worked on and taken care of. That's when it became an issue, because these contractors that you're sending, possibly military military vehicles to get worked
Right.
on at a third echelon shop. It's like, well, they're not going to get worked on anymore
Right.
because those guys aren't going to work at all.
No,
and
no,
they're
they're not.
already taking Fridays off anyways. So you only have 4 days to get it to them. It's like now it just gets insane. So now it puts a lot more on the military member to get all these other things done. That now you're working an extra job when you're paying these contractors to do so.
Right.
That's what became difficult, the military standpoint for government shutdowns.
Right.
But or not, they were always still going to be, we were always going to be paid. I was never worried. And I've been, like I said, I was a part of the 3 of the last 4 shutdowns, and I always had a paycheck.
That's good. Hey, thank you for your service.
Oh, thank you.
Veterans Day. You know, we pre-record, so today is Veterans Day. So thank you so much for
I appreciate
your
it.
service.
Thank you.
We are so grateful for our veterans. I want you to know we are so grateful for the freedoms that we have. We do not take it for granted. The fact that we can sit here and record a podcast that airs worldwide is by way of our freedoms. And we're just so grateful for what our military does for us. We're very grateful for all who have served. Thank you so much. And for those, I know Veterans Day is not about those who are serving, but we are very grateful for those who are currently serving also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I also wanted to mention that we've got
Mommy?
with the government shutdown, there is that you're the
Mamacita?
only one that answers your mommy phone. Remember? So in case you guys missed that episode, and I'll note it which one it was. We're in the middle of a podcast. Garrett's phone's sitting right here.
I didn't answer it. I didn't answer it the first. She brought it up. She's like, "You're going to answer it."
Mommy calls, and Garrett answers it. Mommy. It actually says mommy, and he answers it. It's daddy on the phone, but it's mommy who's calling. And so it was hilarious in the middle of our podcast.
And just so we are clear, I don't call my dad daddy. I call him Pop. Okay, so let's just clear that.
I wouldn't know because mommy is all that popped up on your phone. Maybe you should ask your dad to call one day so we can see what you call him. Because
you know what's funny?
Daddy.
You know what's funny? Actually, on my dad's caller ID, it's just his name. It says Chris Sell. Like it doesn't even say
That's
dad
hilarious.
or Pop or whatever.
No,
Yeah.
Mine says mom. Speaking of those, and on a complete rabbit trail, I have about 10 to 15 Adams in my phone.
Yeah,
Adam,
I'm getting that way. It's very common.
My Adam is Adam ... my bestie.
Right. I've seen that.
So when I say call Adam, every single time it says, you have 15 Adams. Which one do you want us to call? I'm like, oh my gosh, how does it not know that this is the only Adam that I call, for God's sake?
Have you tried to favorite him? So like...
No, he is. He's the only favorite Adam.
Yeah.
And I say... You're the favorite Adam.
Only favorite Adam.
Only Adam, yes. So I say, I literally have to say this to Siri every single time. Siri, call Adam my bestie. And I think Adam did that on purpose because he put his name in my phone that way. Yeah. So he has to remind me every single time I have to call him that he is my bestie.
Yeah, I think in my wife's phone, I'm your love muffin, which was this. Now listen, this was put in her phone years ago. We're like the same way. When we put names in our phone, we don't change them after. They just put in there, and then that's just we just rock with them, right?
Literally. So yeah. My siblings' spouses still say they're their girlfriend or boyfriend. Yeah. I probably should update all this.
This happens.
Anyway, one thing about the government shutdown too, though, is that there are, like for example, we have the land that was listed on Argonaut Drive
Lane,
and the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency, well, it's shut down because of the
perfect time to do a deal.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Is that shady?
You can't.
Would that be shady?
Well, it would be illegal and probably very dishonest.
Would it though? I mean, you're getting it done, and it's not really a material fact because they haven't been out there to tell you what the problem is.
We already know.
Oh.
Yeah,
so it is material fact.
So I mean, if you do, perhaps if you have property currently that needs to be flagged by the EPA and it's not, this may be your time.
This might be your time. But as we know, Wednesday is going to get done. 60 to 40 is going to happen.
Being done. We have the testing of the land being done right now, and so it's at a complete and utter stop because of this government shutdown. So, and I mean, it's just there's
government
just
contractors, man, they're the worst.
Crazy things. Anyway, we are praying for the government to reopen. We are praying for our country as
Wednesday.
a whole.
Wednesday's the date, so everybody knows.
Yes,
that's when the vote's supposed to happen.
So by the time you see this,
Wednesday, 2 days. Yeah. Well, like we said, we're recording on that. So Wednesday, it would have happened.
Yeah, we will already have the results of this. We just don't know them yet. You do, but we don't. So we're hopeful that we will be able to open up the government again. Yeah. And just ultimately, I mean, there's just demands that are being made that have nothing. Here's the thing. They have nothing to do with our country.
No.
None of them. None of the demands that are being made that are literally holding our country hostage have anything to do with our country. They're about offering services for these people or the. And while I'm all for that, I think we should look out for ourselves first. So it's so crazy to me that the Democrats have voted to keep the government closed 14 times, having demands that have nothing to do with the people in our country.
It's insane.
It's really crazy to me. So anyway, we're praying that we all come together, that that there be a massive revival in
we figure out what's best for what our country needs, and that's the whole point, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And with regard to real estate, we're wrapping up now 2025.
Yeah, 2 months away.
A month and a half almost.
Yeah, this year went by super quick.
It did. And looking at what was predicted for 2025 and what actually transpired. So the prediction was that 2025 was going to be way better than 2024, right? Interest rates were going to go down. Yeah. There was going to be more homes sold. What the actual reality today is that compared to 2024 and 2025 for buyers feel like 2025 was better. Yeah. There's more inventory on the market. The home prices have gone down a little bit, which have balanced things out. Yep. The interest rates have dropped a little bit. They were closer to 7%. Now they're closer to 6%.
We saw the big swing in October. That was really when you started seeing the drastic drops in everything.
So for buyers across the nation, they have felt like 2025 was better than 2024. I can see that. For sellers, they have not. No. They feel like 2024 was better. There's more inventory. You got people selling homes that bought it 40 years ago, back in 99. Okay, sorry. 30 years ago, because I'm only 32, I almost aged myself 10 years. They bought it back in like 90s for like $100,000 and $200,000, and they're selling it for $400,000 to $500,000, and they're upset about it. Yeah, it has really been this game where people are not willing to drop the prices, but the sellers have noticed. I mean, unless sellers are willing to drop it down into the market where people will buy, sellers' homes have sat on the market a lot longer. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of listings that have expired. There are, they're not selling their homes as quickly as they want for the price they want. So it just depends on where you fall as to whether you thought 2025 has been productive for you or not. I have to say commercial has actually taken off. And that's been very exciting. I mean, that's kind of across the board. I mean, we are in a very intense commercial training right now through Berkshire Hathaway.
Oh yeah, super awesome too.
It's very exciting.
I'm excited about it, but I think I can see it because I think it was a change from COVID, man. I think more businesses are coming back and needing their storefronts again because they're like, I can only do so much online, and I'm getting that. I would say that recoup of money back to where I want that storefront and I want to have it open to the public because the best way to promote your business is always by word of mouth. Yeah. And if you don't have a storefront, I mean, everybody, I think it's just, we're transferring back into that. And I think it's a great time right now. If you are a small business owner or you are a business owner and you want to get your storefront back or you want to have somewhere to put your product, service, or goods, you should hit us up. We have a lot coming up here in Amador County specifically and also in the neighboring areas, which I think is awesome.
Absolutely. And it's very exciting when commercial is switching hands to watch new life coming back into the towns. And you've probably seen that in your towns also. So very exciting. If you guys are looking for a buyer's agent or a listing agent and you don't know who to go through, send us an email, realtalkwkg@gmail.com. We can connect you anywhere in the world. We have referrals anywhere in the world that we can put you with an amazing Berkshire Hathaway Home Services agent. And
we know. We meet these guys every year. We talk to them. We build that kind of trust with them. So we're not just giving you some Joe Schmo off the street that we just think is in that area. Yeah. We have connections with them, and we can actually fill out and make sure they're right for you. Yes.
We definitely have communities where we know these people. And so it is very exciting. So we can help you in whatever area that you're in. And so I would say we have about 2 weeks before Thanksgiving. We're almost there.
Yeah, 2 weeks. So as I look over to Adam, I'm like, it's 2 weeks. I'm like, okay. He shook his head.
It's the 27th this year. 27th. Yeah. So we are about 2.5 weeks off.
And we got a lot of things going from now till then in between. That's going to be really fun. Keep our time up. So we'll have to hopefully have videos and little shorts. So keep up on that of our little time between all these holidays and seeing everybody. If you are going on holidays, always travel safe. Have a plan. Hopefully this government shutdown ends before then so we can have safe travels on airlines. My mom and sister actually went to San Antonio last weekend, and they were during that time in Texas when they had those big shutdowns, but they didn't have a problem because they weren't in the major one. The major airports were like, even my dad says, he's like, oh, they're doing it for publicity and stuff. And I was like, well, maybe, but it was only on major airports that they're kind of shutting down. I flew out recently and it was fine out of Sacramento. So everything's still going good. Hopefully we can get this figured out so it doesn't a balloon effect here.
Well, and that's actually, speaking of that, thank God they're doing they're coming to an agreement right now, because that would significantly affect holiday travel.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, no, that would be super
100%.
crazy. And then also, I was just going to tell you guys to stay tuned for an upcoming episode. We are going to be interviewing someone out of the Sacramento area with regard to safety, human trafficking. What's happening across the nation?
Can we ask them if they really did catch them by the bundles?
With their big nets. Garrett thought kidnappers went out with big nets.
I was just saying they were once they,
So no, it's a very, very serious thing, and and there is. So we're going to be interviewing someone in the next couple of weeks that is going to give us all of the insights, not just in our area, but in all areas across the nation. So stay tuned for that, and you guys have a great week.
Hey, thank you guys for watching Real Talk with Kandi and Garrett. We're doing a special promotion for the month of November and the month of December. We are looking for sponsorships. That's right. Your one sponsorship for our videos can get your local business promoted for an entire month. Let's make it happen. Let's show what the community we got here. If you got a local business, you're running a program, or you're doing anything like that, we want to help you get your business out there. We are on Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and etc. Let's make it happen. Let's grow your brand. Let's help us out, help you out. Let's become family, guys. Reach out to us, realtalkwkg@gmail.com, realtalkwkg@gmail.com. We'll see you guys there.
We just want to give you a What to Do Wednesday disclaimer. The information provided in this podcast is for general informational purposes only. All opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not reflect the official stance of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services or Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Divine Properties or any affiliated entities. This podcast does not constitute legal, financial, or real estate advice, and listeners are encouraged to consult with qualified professionals regarding their specific needs. While we strive to provide accurate information, we make no guarantees regarding the completeness or reliability of any information discussed. We are not responsible for any actions taken by listeners based on the content of this podcast. Additionally, topics covered in the podcast are based on the host's experience and opinions and may not apply to all situations. Listeners are reminded that real estate laws and regulations may vary by location, and information may become outdated over time. By listening to this podcast, you agree to release the host, guests, and any associated entities from any liability related to the topics discussed.